Actually tasted victory in races, and that's unusual to see at this early stage of the season for two-year-olds.
It is, and it's great to see these babies here, and of course it is family day out here as well.
It is, yes. Many of the babies. We just saw Mr. Quartermain, young Mr. Quartermain.
Yes.
Jack is out here with Mum and Dad, and there's another one of the impressive babies in Montvert number 1, trained by Colin Alderson. Gee, I like the way he finished off his race at Moonee Valley. This is a stronger field, Jen, but he looks a racehorse to me.
Yes, I like that effort too at Moonee Valley there, Peter. It was a strong effort towards the end. He got back in that race. He hooked out and got to the line very well. And the start before was good as well. Well, it's an interesting race, this. I just don't know whether that form's going to hold up, but I've left him there with a place chance.
Now, number 2, Testarossa, has also had the one start for one win. Really finished off well. I had a good look at the tape again last night, 3 or 4 times, Jen, and he looked like a racehorse to me.
Yes, that was on the heavy going, Peter, so that's something to consider. But was heavily backed on that occasion, from 12s into 9 to 1. And you can't knock winning form, so hard to beat.
Yeah, I think sometimes when they're on the heavy going too as a 2-year-old, that indicates that they've got a few things against them, yet he still handled it that day. Number 3 is Irish Janty, has the tongue tie on for the first time, has had the 2 starts. Last start winner at Morfettville, but that was 14 to 1 chance at an Adelaide Monday meeting.
And one on protest too. Yeah, not a bad effort there, and it hasn't done all that much wrong to date, so there with a place chance.
4 Big Tide, Richard Jolly rides for Joe Hall, won in quick time last start at Morfettville.
Led on that occasion, Peter, and I thought went to the line pretty well. I'll leave him there with a place chance.
Cloister's already a winner, having tasted success at Caulfield in the strong Clary Connor stable, and Shane Dyer's looking to break his duck. That's number 5, Cloister.
Well, she looks a professional filly, and I do like the look of her here in the mounting yard, so I've given her an each way chance.
Yes, there she is. You can see she's tightened up $1 and is now into $5.90. Let's move along to number 6, Prince Benbara. Blinkers on for the first time here, has only had the 1 run, and he was a mile back at Moonee Valley. He got home very well along the rail.
He raced very greenly on that
Didn't he?
occasion, yeah, and bred to get over a bit further as well, so this is a bit harder. I'd say a place at best.
What about Geiger Wonder, has had the 1 start, number 7, for a third at Echuca?
Every chance there at Echuca, and this isn't that much easier.
Now, one of Peter Hayes's, and he's probably going to have a strong hand with 2-year-olds in this season, Charm Scene Land, number 8, Brett Preble rides.
Cost $90,000 at the Sydney Easter sales and is a half-brother to Bendigo winner Stick Around. I'd say at best a place chance in this.
Yeah, it doesn't look fancied at $21. 9 Gotham Ruler has the blinkers on. Eddie Wilkinson, the rider for Jim Marconi.
I saw the trial there at Cranbourne. I thought it was a fairly ordinary effort. The blinkers might help, but I'd rather see.
And another of the Hayes runners, Jimmy Cassidy, rides number 10, Real Jester for Peter Hayes, also a debutant.
I think this horse has got a terrific chance. Bred to run very fast as a 2-year-old. In fact, the mother, Dangerous Theme, did win the Maribyrnong trial. So on that effort, I think definitely a chance in this.
And significantly has tightened up 230. Here's the third of the 3 Hayes runners. Walk the Wild Side, number 11, has had the 1 start for a win at Cheltenham. Greg Childs is the rider.
Yes, 5 wide early there, Peter, and Swish the Tail didn't like the whip at all. Was well backed on that occasion. I'll leave Walk the Wild Side there with a place chance.
I can tell you it's quite dark here at Flemington, and that's the reason why, and that doesn't look very promising for later on. The clouds are hovering above the Flemington racecourse, and let's hope that they do manage to circle the course. 10, 5 and 2 is Jen's trifecta for the trifecta fans in the second. Let's see what the bookmakers have made of it. All important, especially with these 2-year-old races. Tim Gossage, bring us up to date.
Real Jester opened up along with Testarossa. The best money has been for number 2, Testarossa, although Real Jester still kept very, very tight. Interesting enough, Charm Scene Lad, 20 to 1 on the tote, half that price in the ring. There's been good specking too for the Marconi trained Gotham Ruler, but at this stage, Testarossa and Real Jester almost equal favourites.
They'll scamper down the straight 1,000 metres, and the best place to be is the high numbered barriers here. Real Jester is Jen's selection in the race number 10, and it has got gate number 8. Richard's gone for Testarossa, Walk the Wild Side for Johnny, Real Jester for Dan Malicki, Cloister for Gary, and Montvert for me. So we've got 5 different selections there in this, the Ridges Riverwalk Maribyrnong Plate, the 128th running. It's been won by some great horses over the years. Some of the greats of the Australian turf, names such as Biscay and Vane, have won this race. They're on their way to the gates. We'll be back to see the next name to be added to the honour roll on the other side of this. Well, for the first time this carnival, we're getting a few drops of rain falling, and at this stage, let's hope that's all it is, drops, but it certainly doesn't look too promising, and there are a lot of grey and even black clouds hovering around. And there's the scene at the start prior to the running of race 2, the Ridges Riverwalk Maribyrnong Plate. Starting time is 5 minutes after 12. As I said, some great horses have won this race over the years, and Roy Higgins rode a few of them too. Gee, there have been some wonderful names won this one, Roy.
Pete, it's a race that I won on probably the fastest horse I ever rode during my career. It was a horse called Biscay.
Yep.
And I think he won this race by 12 lengths in a hand canter.
Yeah.
It was an outstanding sprinter, but it's pretty hard down the yard there to sort these out. There's a lot of first starters and a lot of only a little bit of exposed form. Of the exposed form, certainly the two here, Testarossa, he's done an absolute treat since winning there at Caulfield his first start. He looked excellent. Of the first starters, certainly the 10, Real Jester from the Hayes camp. He's a typical Rory's Jester, this guy. Big, powerful individual. He looked excellent. Of the others, a little girl here in 5, Cloister, a winner here at Caulfield there during the carnival. And the top here, Monte Verde, a winner at Moonee Valley at his last start. So I think if we place our thoughts around the 2, 10, 5 and 1, I shouldn't be far out.
Let's get the thoughts of Eddie Kasser, who's riding Testarossa here in the second.
What chance do you give Testarossa?
On his first up performance, I think he should go on with that, hopefully. He's drawn a nice barrier here today, so hopefully he should race somewhere up on the pace and be too good for him.
Tim Gossage standing by with a last-minute update in the betting ring, Tim.
Big go, Testarossa. Clear-cut favourite now. They're coming for it. It's a half point shorter in the ring than it is on the tote, Pete.
Runners have been inserted into the gates. Gary Wellerton, Dan Malicki in the commentary box.
Yes, thanks, Peter. Look, I like the look of Real Jester. Cost 150,000. And boy, he looks the goods to me. I think he'll run very well. His mother actually won this race, Dangerous Seam. And the other Hayes runner, Charm Seen Land. It's by a Santa Anita Derby winner. Must be his first lot, I think, then.
Testarossa's in there, set to go for the Ridges Riverwalk Maribyrnong Plate. Bit of movement in the gates. They settle now. And they're racing towards the outside. Mondavert just squeezed up a little bit after the start. Testarossa straight over to the outside rail. And also going across with him to share the lead was Real Jester. Then came Cloister, who's up handy. Charm Seen Land is up with Testarossa. Prince Benbara just getting back a little bit. Mondavert, I'm not sure if anything's... No, it mustn't be right with him. He's being eased out of the race, Mondavert. And coming down onto the course proper, Testarossa's in front of Real Jester. About a length and a half to Cloister. Then Irish J&T. Next was Big Tide battling away from Gotham Ruler. Running on fairly was Walk the Wild Side, then Charm Seen Land. Cloister starting to give ground now, and well back Gotham Ruler. Running down to the 300, Testarossa's in front. About a length clear. Battling on Real Jester. They got it between them. 4 lengths away in third spot, Walk the Wild Side. But Testarossa going strongly. Real Jester can't match it over the concluding stages. And Testarossa wins again by 2.5 lengths to Real Jester. Third home, Walk the Wild Side. Then came getting home pretty well at the end there, Charm Seen Land into fourth. Next home was Prince Benbara. Cloister weakened, then Irish J&T, Big Tide, Gotham Ruler and Geiger Wonder. And Mondavert all wasn't well shortly after the start, and he didn't even complete the course. He was eased out of the race, pulled up at about the 500 metres.
Yes, I don't know what happened to him, Dan, whether he's just a little bit shinny or something, but it's unusual for him to... I see he's been remounted again, Jason Patton, but here's the winner, Testarossa. Drew the outside, raced down the outside, and would have been well trialled down the straight at Flemington. It's a great advantage. The one we like, Real Jester, he's ran second. I think he'll improve with the run. And I think the other Hayes runner, Walk the Wild Side.
We did notice with the runner-up, he had a few cuts and bruises over his body, and he also threw Jimmy Cassidy, and he was a real handful in the mounting yard prior.
He certainly was. He's a real colt, and if he doesn't watch himself, he won't be a colt much longer, I would think. But he beautiful-looking horse, but, gee, you can't take anything away from the winner. He's gone on from his one first up at Caulfield, and he's gone on and won very well. Worked right away.
Big spaces at the end there, Gary, but at the halfway point, they were well grouped up, so the good horses really produced over the ladder 400 metres.
Yes, here's a great shot of them. He's just getting away from the rail a little bit here. As I said, it's very hard to come down the outside rail, and you notice a lot of those boys and our top jockeys get that stick in the other hand, and Eddie will have to practice a bit of being able to put that hand in the left hand so he can keep them on the outside rail. It's a big advantage.
2 starts, 2 wins for Testarossa. Won the Debutant Stakes on a heavy track and completely different conditions today over a slightly longer distance, and remains unbeaten, and now with a Group 2 success trained by Dean Lawson, who's got a large team of young horses, but obviously some pretty handy ones.
Yes, yeah, he's a nice horse. He's beautiful over the hindquarters, and he could go on and make a very good horse.
56.6 the time, which is an extraordinary run, Peter Donegan, for 2-year-olds.
Yes, it is an extraordinary run, and Dean Lawson is the winning trainer, and this one might be pretty smart, I think, Dean.
I think he's pretty smart, Peter. His first win at Caulfield was very good, and even though it was heavy, probably closer to slow, people thought he probably could have been a wet tracker. He won so well, but Eddie and I knew how good he was before the rain came, so we knew he was even better on top of the ground.
I said to Jen, watching the replay of that Caulfield win, he just dipped in his stride at the 200 at Caulfield, but then he picked himself up and carried himself like a real racehorse too.
Yeah, when he went outside the leader, Greg Hall's whip hit him over the nose, and which sort of made him throw his head to the side, so Eddie just pulled him out a little bit further away and then let him extend, and he won quite well.
He'll win some more races for you, this bloke, no doubt about it. What do you do with him now?
He'll go to the paddock for 2 weeks, and then we'll get him set for the Magic Millions, and if he comes through that all right, we'll be looking at the Triple Crown next year.
Well done. I think you've got a lot to look forward to.
Thanks, Peter.
Dean Lawson, the winning trainer with Testarossa. Very impressive type, and I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot more of him, maybe in the Magic Millions, maybe in the Autumn Carnival here in Melbourne next year. And here he comes back to scale now with Eddie Kasser, who we spoke to before the race. He was quite confident, and with good reason. And the good thing is, too, that Mondovert, the rider, has remounted Jason Patton and has brought that horse back to scale. More from Flemington after this break. Crowd still streaming in here to Flemington for the final day of the carnival for 1998, and as they do, the jockeys are going through their ritual after the running of the second event, the Ridges Riverwalk Maribyrnong Plate. It's still pretty warm too, not a bad thing to do with an ice cream. It's been very humid early today, and there are the riders just getting up on the scales, and the correct weight signal is going to be declared now. Time was 56.6 seconds. And that is just 1.1 outside the record, so that's a real good scamper for the babies. And correct weight is there, brought to you by Maggi. Weight is right, and that horse is pretty smart. Testarossa defeating Real Jester. Good performance at its first appearance. Walk the Wild Side was third. Dan, here are the dividends.
Testarossa 3 even and 150. Real Jester 180. Walk the Wild Side 290. Quinella $7.80. Trifecta $125.30, which is a decent dividend considering the prices in the race-to-race double. $10.50. 2 3/4 lengths by 3. They were well spaced out, and that time incredibly fast is 1.1 seconds faster than any 2-year-old has gone before at Flemington over the 1,000 metres.
Yeah, that is really moving, and the presentation will be coming up shortly, Dan, after race 2. Jen, I just spoke to Jason Patton, and there's good news and bad news. The great news is that he rode Mondovert, which was pulled up in the early stages of the race, and he said, I actually thought the horse had broken its leg in the early stages, but as it turns out, what's probably happened is that it's just hit a nerve.
Right.
And so the horse has trotted back fine.
Yep.
Now there are the totes for the third. As we take a look at those, Spectrum and Zelinda certainly well in contention on the first page. What did you make of it?
Well, I like number 12, Zaquita here, Peter. She made up a lot of ground there at Rosehill to win, and her start before that, she didn't have any luck at Canterbury. From I've put in number 3, Alfred's Jewel, who's the winner of the last 2 runs, and number 8, No Mystery for third.
Well, I've come up with one that you haven't found in your top 3, Vesti. I thought it's been running as though it'll handle the 2,000 metres. The run at Moonee Valley I thought was pretty good, boxed on really well there, and at $4.30 I think Vesti is the one. The Barded Bride, it's not hopeless at $40 either.
No, it wasn't a bad run the other day, a bit wide there at Flemington, and wasn't really given that much hope.
Okay, that's the third. That's coming up at 12:45. Time for the presentation after the running of race 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Ridges Riverwalk Maribyrnong Plate, thrilling finish, and of course we unearth a new baby out of this with the 2-year-olds going around. Just for the record, if you missed what I said before, some 30 races have been run and won here at Flemington. That's the 19th Flemington train winner. Interesting stat, isn't it? Well, Mr. Doug Reid, OAM, is representing the VRC for this presentation, but would you please welcome Miss Sarah Kay, the Rooms Divisional Manager here of the Ridges Riverwalk Hotel.
Thanks, Rob. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to be here today on behalf of Ridges Riverwalk Hotel to present the trophy to the winning owner of the Ridges Riverwalk Maribyrnong Plate. Along with the VRC, this week we've been extremely busy at the hotel as well, entertaining and looking after the thousands that seem to flock to Melbourne each spring for this great week at Flemington. We're situated on the banks of the Yarra, as we are today here on the banks of the Maribyrnong, and both spots are fantastic and you're guaranteed of a great time. I'd now like to congratulate and present the trophy to the winning owners of Testarossa, Mr. and Mrs. Capelin. Accepting the trophy is John Capellan. Here.
And there are the dividends on race 2 as we take a look at the trophy being handed over for the Ridges Riverwalk Maribyrnong Plate. That's an incredible statistic, Jen, that 19 of the winners so far have been trained here at Flemington. In previous carnivals, we've been able to say a lot of the winners have been trained at headquarters, but in previous years it's been Randwick.
Well, that's true, but Peter, they do have a fantastic record here over the carnival. They have in years gone by.
Well, I think there might be another one here because Vesti number 3 is trained by Peter Hayes here at Flemington, and Jen's selection Zaquita number 12 is trained at Berry.
There you go.
So there are the selections, and we should just mention too, as we go back to Sandra Sully, that when the crowd figure came through 74,000 on Thursday, I suppose there was the tiniest little bit of disappointment that we didn't manage to break the record again.
Yes, but we actually did. Yes.
Yeah, because they've revised the crowd figure, and there were actually in excess of 77,000 people in attendance here on Thursday. Sandra, that's not bad for a working day.
It's not bad, and in fact Mr. Brian Beattie was very happy this morning and wanted to give us the update so that we could say it was a record week, as we know it's going to be after today. Well, we've got plenty more in store for you, including another look at one of our up-and-coming designers, and also we'll be announcing the winner of our fabulous Magi Phantom Call competition. But we've got to go to a break now, so let's take another look, another postcard of Victoria and vibrant Southgate.
Ben's got 2 in front of me at the first 2. I'm 3 lengths further back. But then I'm following his favourite anyway, the winner, and I'm thinking, well, it's not too bad. And he got held up, and I got held up. But when he got clear,
he's probably lost it. You haven't got problem being able to do it.
Oh, excuses. Some of the reasons why we're losing this week. I don't know about you, but I haven't backed a winner yet, so none of those excuses are good enough. Well, we all know that Cup Week is action-packed with race meetings, lunches, dinners, fashion shows, and all sorts of other assorted engagements. But while that's going on, there's another part of the industry hard at work, and without it, well, we wouldn't have anything.
It begins here, in the cool, crisp, half-light of dawn. 1,000 miles from the thunder of the track or the theatre of the ring. Racing's biggest gamble pays off. It's said no breeder has ever committed suicide while there's an untried yearling in the paddock. And the uplifting proof is provided through the mists as mares suckle their foals and wobbly legs grow strong. In the field of dreams, hope rises daily. This is Chatswood Stud, north of the Great Divide at Seymour in Victoria. But it could be any stud, any time. A love of horses is one thing, but one thing you can't be too fond of is sleep. That's because many foals are born at night or close to dawn.
They perceive there's less risk of predators. That's probably just something that's bred in them, I think.
Birthing in the equine world is, thankfully, usually relatively simple and easy. The foal emerges front feet first in a membranous sac from which she breaks free within minutes of birth. As soon as the foal is born, the ritual link between dam and progeny is made. The mare immediately recognizes the special smell of her offspring, and this is to enable her always to distinguish it from the rest of the paddock. Soon the foal will take her first tentative steps. She'll gradually become sure-footed. She won't be so camera shy. And it won't be long before she joins this jaunty gathering. Chatswood was founded at Avenel by Alan Willis 25 years ago. But 3 years ago, it moved to Seymour. Chatswood stands 5 stallions in 1998.
Ascalani, who was a champion French miler, he stands at $16,000. Rishnikov, who's a Group 1 winner by Ken Mayer. He's a half-brother to the current sire of the moment, Zabil. You have Dan Zero, who was Dane Hill's first Golden Slipper winner. Geiger Cantor, who's the last season he was the third leading Australasian sire, sire of Gold Guru. Races Edge, who's Roy's Jester's leading money earner. He's a Group 1 winner, and we've got high hopes for all of them.
So Chatswood is fortunate to have Dr. John Hyland at the start.
White embryo looks like a blob there, but it's an embryo floating, and if you look carefully, you can actually see the heartbeat on this embryo.
At this stage, there's no knowing just how big the motor is. But if curiosity is a sign of intellect, then watch out for this extremely smart galloper.
Yes, it's the hard yards at the farm that make it all worthwhile, but make it all worthwhile for the kids this glorious day at Flemington. As you can see, lots of fun in store for them. The picnic baskets are out in force on the fabulous Flemington lawns as usual. But you can't miss out on our fabulous competition we've been running all week, and that is the Avengers competition. And some of the costumes from this wonderful movie are out here at Flemington. But if you would still like to be a winner, you can be. You still have a chance. Let's just give you the details now. If you can call 1902 555 308, all you need to do is leave your name, address and phone number, and you could win a trip for two to London or the use of a brand new Jaguar XJ8 convertible for a month. All you have to do when you ring through is just say which prize you would like and why. It's that simple. Time now to check back in with Lynn Talbot out on the lawns.
Yes, Sandra, we're down here in front of Maya Kids Fashions on the field, and we're having a lot of fun here. We have got a little girl who's just a little bit too young to enter. She's only 3, and she's Lexi, the daughter of Rhonda Birchmore, star of stage and screen. Hello, Lexi. How are you, sweetheart? Good. Good, and you've got your lovely frock on, and there's a bit of a history to this, Rhonda.
There's a history. Dad's a big race goer, but Mum and Dad are in Sydney today, and Mum actually made this dress for me 35 years ago for my first little dancing concert. So you're going to do a bit, what about a bit of a whirl? Show Nana Bond the back. Come on. Woohoo. Do a whirl.
How gorgeous. Now, what are you up to at the moment?
Well, All America's been deferred yet another year, so it's one of those things I'm filling in time. Well, you know, we've been out here all week judging fashions on the field, but I'm doing corporate stuff and concert stuff and selling out in Ettalong and out west of New South Wales, which is great. Hi.
We always love to see you on the stage, so congratulations for being David Lawrence, one of the best judges, I thought. You had good taste.
Did you see Melbourne Cup? I came with a few roses, and Lexi today. Come on, Lex. Oh, she's off. Oh,
it's mad down here. We'll go back to you, Sandra.
I think madness reigns, Lynn. It's mad here as well in the 10 marquee. Speaking of madness, two of the stars from the NBL Slam Show, a new show on 10, Melissa Brown and Gabe Egan. Welcome along.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Sandra.
Tell us a little bit about the show.
Well, it's a fantastic new show all about basketball, basically based around music and loads of action, and it's really a personal sort of show. We're getting to know the basketballers off the court, which is really exciting.
Now, Gabe, do you play basketball?
I have played basketball before, and I know a couple of the guys that are playing up at the Hawks in Wollongong. But the show's more sort of getting behind the scenes. We give the teams cameras to take on trips, and we get a lot of grit. And it's a very fast-paced, actiony type of show.
Well, we look forward to seeing it Sundays at 11:30, and more importantly, we look forward to you guys backing some winners today.
Oh, we can hope so.
Well, best of luck. Nice to meet you both, Gabe and Melissa from NBL Slam, Sundays at 11:30. Well, the countdown to the Emirates Stakes, the main race of the day, race 6 on the card at 2:45 this afternoon. Stay with us. We'll have much more on the other side of the break. Day 4 of this carnival, and we hope you're enjoying it as much as we are certainly bringing it to you. Family Day here at Flemington, the Emirates Stakes Classic, coming up at 2:45. Well, 4 years ago, Wayne Harris lived a dream, but since then, he's had his more than his share of nightmares.
Alcove comes into it, down to the 300. Schön skipped a length and a half in front of Paris Lane. Umpala battling on, and then came Alcove. Schön 2.5 in front. Umpala running on hard the outside. Schön's in front though, then
when I pulled up, just to hear the screaming and the cheering and the emotion coming from the other side of the course was. I wanted to take forever to come back, but I couldn't wait to get back and pick up the trophy. So it was a great feeling.
Wayne Harris bringing him back to the most prized place in Australian racing.
It just seemed to be going too easy. I thought it was, I must have been having a dream and someone was going to pinch me and wake me up, but then to turn around and win the Cup, it's, you know, to be able to get back and ride after all the setbacks I had and to turn around and win the Melbourne Cup, was everyone's dream is to win a Melbourne Cup. Just the feeling I got that day, I just wish everyone could experience it sometime in their life.
1994, a year that Wayne Harris will never forget. In the 12 months surrounding that dramatic day, Harris would take all before him. The list of memorable moments would grow to include 18 Group 1 victories in Australia and around the globe. The world was his oyster.
Back to the fences, dizzy height, Zephyrs in front, and it's Zephyrs who's going to win the money.
However, in 1996, that all changed. For the second time in his life, Wayne's worst fears were realised when doctors discovered another brain tumour.
Just to come back after one was, you know, that was a piece of cake, really. But the second one, I picked up meningitis a week after the operation. I was going great guns and struck down with meningitis, and I was pretty ill for a while. I was touch and go whether I was going to pull through. And
as is typical of the man, Harris fought off the effects of meningitis twice more before astounding all to once again terrorise the turf. This time, however, his comeback would prove brief. And in February this year, Wayne would ride for the last time.
I was going around to the barrier. It was probably simple as falls go. A horse bucked and threw me and trod all over me after it threw me. And I was in a fair bit of pain, but I started feeling pins and needles in my legs straight away. I always knew there was going to be a use-by date stamped on me somewhere, but I always thought I'd push on and just one day just say, well, that's enough, I've had enough. As I said, I wanted it to be the time that I wanted to, you know, I could just say that's enough, but I can't really complain.
In August this year, the man who has ridden almost 2,000 winners worldwide officially said sayonara to the saddle. And a family that has been there every step of the way are happy to have him home. A riding career may be over, but for Wayne Harris, life's greatest 2 miles is only just beginning.
I hope you had the time of your life.
Well, one of the heroes of the track there. Our Magic Competition winner will be announced shortly, so stay tuned to 10. But right now, let's go to Peter and Jenny in the mounting yard with all the details on race 3. And Peter, this would have to be one of the toughest fields for the entire carnival.
Yeah, it is very difficult and a wide open betting race, both with the tote and the bookmaker, Sandra. And as you can see, the weather has set in here. And I suppose we've been pretty lucky so far, Jen, so a few drops of rain. Let's hope we get it over and done with pretty quickly.
Well, there was a mad scamper to get under the stands there from everyone watching these horses around the mounting yard, but hopefully it will pass over. All
right, let's have a look at the horses, and here is Spectrum, the top weight with 58.5 kilos, barrier number 14. Thought she'd just been plodding home in her last couple of runs, Jen.
Probably because she's had to carry so much weight, Peter. 60 before, 3 starts to go, 58.5 on Saturday, and really, that's, you know, I mean, that's what she's got again today, 58.5. So that's going to be her worry here. At best, a place chance, I'd say.
Alfie Matthews right.